In this fascinating video, we explore the hidden secrets and surprising facts about everyday objects that you might take for granted. Did you know that the humble zipper was invented over 100 years ago, but it took decades for it to become popular? Or that the ballpoint pen was invented by accident and it revolutionized the way we write? So sit back, relax, and prepare to be amazed by the incredible stories behind the things you use all the time. Whether you are a history buff, a science nerd, or just someone who loves learning new things, this video is sure to entertain and enlighten you. Get ready to see the world in a whole new way. The first patent for a ballpoint pen was filed in 1888, but it wasn't until the 1940s that ballpoint pens became popular because they were more reliable than fountain pens. The first modern disposable razor was invented by King Camp Gillette in 1901. He came up with the idea of a razor with a disposable blade, which made shaving more convenient and affordable. The first commercial floppy disk was introduced by IBM in 1971. It had a storage capacity of just 80 kilobytes. The first patent for a modern vacuum cleaner was filed in 1901 by British inventor Hubert Booth. The first successful contactless payment system was introduced by Mobil Oil in 1997. The first post-it note was yellow because the 3M scientist who created it used yellow scrap paper from the lab. The first automobile was invented in the late 19th century by Carl Benz. It had a top speed of 10 miles per hour and was powered by a single-cylinder engine. The first commercial jetpack was introduced in 1961 by Bell Aerosystems. The first vending machine was invented in the early 18th century by English inventor Richard Carlisle. First successful pacemaker implantation was performed in 1958 by American surgeon Dr. Paul Zoll. The first digital camera was invented in 1975 by Steven Cecil, an engineer at Kodak. First successful laser eye surgery was performed in 1987 by Dr. Stephen Drucker. The first commercial electric washing machine was introduced in 1908 by the Harley Machine Company. It was called the Thor and used a motor to power the agitator. The first commercial typewriter was introduced in 1874 by Remington. It was called the Scholes and Glidden typewriter and had a keyboard layout that is still in use today. The first commercial color television was introduced by RCA in 1954. It had a 15-inch screen and cost $1,000, which is equivalent to over $10,000 today. First modern smartphone was introduced in 1992 by IBM. It was called Simon and had a touch screen, email capabilities, and could even send faxes. First commercial disposable diapers were introduced in 1948 by Johnson & Johnson. They were called Chucks and were initially designed to be used as disposable sanitary pads for women. The first commercial chewing gum was introduced in 1848 by John B. Curtis. It was called State of Maine Pure Spruce Gum and was made from spruce tree resin. The first modern bicycle was invented in the early 19th century by German Baron Karl von Drais. It was called a running machine and had no pedals, so riders had to push themselves along with their feet. Commercial digital music player was introduced in 1998 by the Korean company Sehan Information Systems. It was called the MP-Man and had a storage capacity of just 32 megabytes. First commercial airline flight took place in 1914 when a plane flown by Tony Janus carried a single passenger from St. Petersburg to Tampa, Florida. The first commercial refrigerator was introduced in 1913 by the General Electric Company. It was called the Monitor Top. First commercial digital voice recorder was introduced in 1985 by Olympus. It used a cassette tape and could record up to 4 hours of audio. The first commercial electric toaster was introduced in 1893 by the Crompton Company. It was called the Eclipse and had a heating element made of platinum wire.